blah, 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 all the way up until this point. RIP for the people over 40 who have a lot of life experience to share. But after you give it all of this substance, ask Claude to then ask you questions, clarifying questions about what your beliefs from your experiences are. So these are going to be the beliefs that you continually hit in your content. Now, if you're someone who's mainly trying to advertise for your business, you're trying to build a brand that is in some sort a client acquisition channel, you can still do this. This isn't just for people that want to, get known and become famous. I think it's relevant to everyone who wants to build a personal brand, regardless of if you're advertising for your business, because there is never going to be a world where people don't with people they like. And so when you share, these are my beliefs about the world, you are sharing what you're like so that people like you can connect with you. And in that connection, that's where trust is built over time, and then people like you as a byproduct. So sharing all of these things, even if they're core to your business or your beliefs about your industry, it's fine, it doesn't matter. But you want to make sure that you sprinkle in your dogma so that people that look at the world the way you look at it, follow you, and trust you as an authority figure. I have an example for you. We grew a creator 2 million followers across all platforms strictly by getting him to talk about his beliefs about the world. They weren't like business strategic content, even though he was a business coach and he helped people make money. He talked about his beliefs around parenting because he has 2 kids, about his beliefs around relationships and, psychology and mindset and money and he was the most dogma-focused personal brand I've ever seen on social media. And he, on the back end of that, makes money for his business. Like, a lot of people talk about, you need to, give value, like, share your competence so that people can see what you're good at and then they'll become customers one day. And I'm all for that, but that's not the only way to get customers. I think, again, we're trying to scale your reputation. Personal branding is just associations, and you want to make sure that people have a good experience with you, so they associate you with that good thing. So that then, in the future, after they already, when you come out with media down the line, that's like, this is how you achieve X thing, this is how you overcome this hurdle, this is how you do X, Y, Z. People now already have a bias towards liking you, so that when you give them that value, they will take you seriously. With just dogma, you will be a personality online. It always matters, but it's not all that matters. Which brings me to principle number 2, credibility. Okay, so credibility is third-party demonstrated proof that you are who you say you are and you help the people that you claim to be an expert in helping. This could be, transformations. This could be client proof. This could be before and afters. This could be testimonials. There's a bunch of different ways to show credibility. In order for people to see you as an authority that will influence people, they need to have trust that you have done something that they admire. So, like, I have a bunch of friends from years ago. I like them and I trust them. I might trust them with my life, but would I trust them to give me business advice, or would I trust them to give me content advice or fitness advice? No, because liking someone is not enough for you to take them seriously and to get influenced by them, which is why you need credibility. You need to prove to people that you have helped people like them in order for them to take you seriously and trust that if they work with you or they get influenced by you, they'll get an outcome that they want. I have a perfect example here. So we were working with a fitness coach, and this individual is so wrong about everything that they say. But it doesn't matter that they're wrong or that the science-based lifters can critique everything they say and tell them that it's not true, because this individual gets the most ridiculous client transformations I've ever seen in my life. So it doesn't matter that the science bros disagree with him, because he has credibility. People know that, this guy looks like me and he got shredded. So if I work with this guy, I might look like this and then I might get this outcome. You could be wrong. You could be completely walking off a cliff with the education. You could be completely wrong about all of the education that you give. It doesn't fully matter. You can still get great results on social media and build a personal brand where people take you seriously and they see you as an authority if you just have mountains and mountains of proof that you have helped people like them. That's the power of credibility, which brings us to principle number 3, personality. Personality as the traits, the isms, the behaviors that you do that all pair you into one person. When I talk, sometimes I look up and then in between saying words, I laugh. And then I have this specific joke that all the people closest to me, understand. It's like an inside joke. It's how funny are you? How dry are you? Do you talk loud? Do you talk quiet? It's all of the unique ways that you show up and communicate that make you you. The reason why personality really matters is because I think most people approach creating content just like that. They try to create content rather than just be who they are and then have it recorded. So I think if you're trying to show your personality on social media, I think you should try and avoid as much content that enables you to not be the person that you truly are at your core. I think you should instead try to create content that gets the best moments of yourself out. So what we do with the creators that we work with is we get them in a container where we get to talk with them, like a member of our team, a director will interact with them, have conversations with them, and try and pull at nuggets and then like make them laugh, make them joke, like just get their personality out so that we can capture that on camera. Because that content, it feels good for the creator, but it also is a pattern interrupt on social media. Because a lot of people create a persona on social media that is nothing like who they are at their core. I was working with a creator and he had what I called a big boy voice. It was like the inner joke. It was funny, on social media, he was unlike the person that I interacted with. I really liked the person I interacted with. He was one of the coolest people I'd met and I liked how he made me feel. But when I watched his content, I was like, brother, I don't like you. Maybe this is why you're not growing. And so I told him, like, stop creating content with your big boy voice. Just talk to the camera and talk to me while we're recording as you would talk to me as your friend. I think that is going to help you create so much better content. Maybe, like, yes, it could help you build an audience, but it also feels better. I know countless creators personally that built a personal brand being someone that they aren't, and then they build this audience and everyone knows them for being this person, and then they were like, I feel trapped in this identity that I created that isn't me. So don't do that. I'm going to stop you before you're there. Like, build a personal brand, scale your reputation, your actual reputation, not the fake version of you that you're trying to be perceived as. And you do that by sharing your unique personality. Our uniqueness as humans has been beaten out of us since we were kids. Like, sit down, look up, do your homework, fit in with the cool kids, like do all of these things to be socially acceptable, but that beats our differentiation, our uniqueness out of us. I can't count on two hands the amount of times that I was made to feel inferior just making the jokes that I make, just like saying the things I wanted to say. And I know that I'm not the only person who's felt that way. We feel like we need to fit in, but on social media, you will grow for not fitting in. When everyone is singing, you need to zag. And the easiest way to zag is to be yourself, because no one else is like you. Which leads me perfectly to principle number 4, counterpositioning. Counterpositioning utilizes the law of contrast. So if I put a sheet of white paper in front of you, and I put a little red circle in the center of that white piece of paper, your eye is going to be drawn to the red circle on the white piece of paper, because the red circle is contrasting and different to what is on the rest of the sheet of paper. If I line up 10 men on a wall, and then I put one woman in the center, your eye is going to be drawn to that woman in the center, because she is different than everyone else. So when I'm talking about counterpositioning, in order to build a cult-like audience, you are standing for something, which means that there are going to be people that stand against it. So I believe in choosing the things you will stand for, but I also believe in choosing the things that you will stand against. And that is counterposition. It's you are positioning yourself counter to what other people are doing. How do you do this? I see this as a multi-dimensional game that you play where you don't hit yourself into one lane. I think a lot of creators, they're like, oh, you know, I'm a coach, or I'm a business coach, or I do sales, or, you know, I do gardening. And then they only ever talk about that. And I'm not opposed to only creating content about the things that you're skilled at, but I also think that you should play a multi-dimensional game where you become a multi-dimensional character that has opinions on things not just in your industry, but outside of your industry. I think the number one successful creator is multi-dimensionalism. That's not even a fucking word. They have opinions on anything and everything. They have opinions on life, they have opinions on relationships, business, and religion, everything. And that doesn't mean that they need to create content on everything. It's just, you know, I do gardening, and then they only ever talk about that. And I'm not opposed to only creating content about the things that you're skilled at, but I also think that you should play a multi-dimensional game where you become a multi-dimensional character that has beliefs and opinions on things not just in your industry, but outside of your industry. I think the number one trait of a successful creator is multi-dimensionalism. That's not even a fucking word. They have opinions on anything and everything. They have opinions on life, they have opinions on relationships, business, and politics, and religion, you can play a game where you pick all of the things that you have your strongest beliefs on, and then you look at what do I believe that is different from everyone else in this field, and then you go down. What do I believe that is different from everyone else in this field? And then you keep going down with your list of beliefs, and then you see you become a unique person that is counterpositioned from multiple angles, rather than just counterpositioning in sales, counterpositioning in business, whatever your industry is. And so as a person brand, I will counterposition myself in content, but I will also counterposition myself in philosophy, and I will also counterposition myself in fitness, and all of the things that I believe about. That is how I am going to play a multi-dimensional counterpositioning game. Five is to have a current goal. We had a was sitting at 400,000 on Instagram, and they were trying to get to. So we created two types of basic content. Was a form of demonstrative content. So we were demonstrating how to do something so that people could watch. So that was one type of content. Which made her audience for her was a daily challenge video. So she had a goal and she told her audience publicly about it, and then she documented every day, day 1 of X, day 2 of X, all the way up until she achieved her goal. A leader is someone who leaves someone somewhere. So they know where they're going because they like or they have some competence in getting there. So if you want to follow you need to lead those following. And that's why I think having a career and documenting it on social media is one of the best things, not only for your audience, but also for you. You can show people in real time and clearly show them this goal in this much time. This goal. And then share with them what you're going to achieve it. If you're in fitness, I'm going to get to this much weight and I'm going to do it. If you're trying to build a $10 million business, document what you're doing every single day to get to that $10 million business. Sharing that you, as an authority figure, are working towards a goal inspires an audience to also pick a goal and work towards it, and then learn from what you're documenting. When you step into the limelight and you start creating content, you self-pedestalize yourself in some way, either consciously or subconsciously. Since creating content myself, I've realized I lost a level of humility that I was still on the come, that I was still learning. And it's not that I wasn't learning and still learning about my craft and becoming better content, so I continued. I started to get followers and I started to get views and people started to DM me and be like, oh, this is good stuff. I started to think of myself more as a teacher, and you're focused on being a teacher. You're less focused on being a student. So what setting a goal and achieving it publicly does is it puts you back into your position of a student where you're showing people how you have the teeth in the first place. You're demonstrating you have the skills and the ability to get an outcome for yourself, and then in doing so, you achieve credibility like we talked about. What I want to try and help you avoid is the belief that you know everything. The issue with becoming an authority on social media is that you start to believe that. You start to compete with people in your industry. You start to think that you have all the answers, even though you don't. Which is why it's important to keep learning. And that's why documenting a goal and sharing what you're learning as you achieve that goal is so important if you want to become a leader. An example of this, my buddy Sam, who is the head of media for Dan Martell. He is documenting his challenge of getting to 100K followers with just his iPhone. So the actual thing you can do is pick a goal that excites you relative to your industry, relative to your niche, and then talk about it publicly. I'm going to achieve this goal. This is what I'm going to do to work towards it. I'm going to document what I'm doing every single day. Which brings us to trait number 6, outside interests. Your outside interests are the things that interest you outside of your niche, outside of the thing that people notice. This is relevant to people that have authority and have established credibility with their audience when someone's good at something. There's this concept called credibility, which is the concept where when someone is good at one thing, you become interested in all of the other things that they do because you know that they're good at that thing. This is why celebrities and movie actors get asked their opinions on politics. He's the creative director of Polaroid. What the fuck does she know about cameras? Oh, what is it in your life? Like, what do you eat? What supplements do you take? What do you believe about Trump? What do you believe about XYZ? What do you believe about religion? People are just interested in these things, which is why if you want to become a cult leader, demonstrate all of the 5 principles I mentioned up until this point, and then start to demonstrate to your audience your outside interests as well. This is the stuff that demonstrates to your audience that you are a person just like them. You breathe the same air, you're made of the same flesh. You are sharing what you are like so that people like you can connect with you. And that's where trust is built. A nugget about all of these principles is that you can mold all of your principles into. You don't have to make one single video
छिटो गर्नु पर्दाखेरि 2:30
on a subject matter where
कहिले
you're
6 बजे आउँछ
extremely
कहिले
carefully
8:30
how that
कहिले
displays
7
when you're
कहिले
studying outside of
9
English,
कहिले
and you
10
can also
कहिले
weave in
12
other music elements throughout the
ठेगा नै
song.
छैन
And you can also
4 को
weave in English relief about the world because
सो
that
म्यान
helps you share your thoughts. So these six principles are more about the
अब
world
त म
inside
चाहिँ
of you and how you're going
5
to
दिन चाहिँ 4 डे है
like
गार्बेज
approach
डे
the
हो
world.
सो
And
म्यान
the way you implement
फ्राइडे
that
र
comes down to your creativity.
स्याटरडे
Watch this
हिजो र
video next
अस्ति
on how to create
चाहिँ
viral content
बन्द
for
थियो भनौँ
English.
न आएको थिएन
Most people on social media have no idea how to build a personal brand.
Love is the message, eh? Y'all ready? Let's go.
তোমরা জানো আমার সরল মন থেকে দুষ্টুমি করে দিন তোমরা জানো আমার তোমরা জানো আমার সরল মন থেকে দুষ্টুমি করে দিন যাবে না ঝিঙ্কা ঝিঙ্কা তোমরা জানো আমার সরল মন থেকে দুষ্টুমি করে দিন যাবে না ঝিঙ্কা ঝিঙ্কা তোমরা জানো আমার সরল মন থেকে
Peace out, baby. Subscribe my YouTube channel, please. So right, what's man? I hope you are having fun, having great days. It's just like all the time. So man. Bye bye.
Say bye bye bye.